From the sands of Arabia to the palaces of Spain, from the deserts of Central Asia to the shores of the Atlantic Ocean. In just 100 years after the death of the Prophet Muhammad, Arab armies had built one of the largest empires in human history. Faster than Rome, larger than Alexander. How? And what happened to them all? The story of Arab empires is a story of extraordinary speed, brilliant adaptation, and, ultimately, the way that power both unites and divides. Today we're going to take a sweeping look at the greatest Arab empires in history, where they came from, how they rose, and why they fell. The Rashidun Caliphate, 632 to 661. The first Arab empire emerged immediately after the death of the Prophet Muhammad in 632 AD. Led by his successors, the caliphs, the early Muslim community launched one of the most stunning military expansions in history. Within 30 years, the Rashidun Caliphate had conquered the Arabian Peninsula, the Levant, Egypt, Persia, and parts of North Africa. The Persian Empire, one of the greatest powers the ancient world had ever seen, was defeated in under a decade. How? Several factors. The Byzantine and Persian empires had just spent decades destroying each other in endless war and were exhausted. The Arab armies were highly motivated, mobile, and fighting with a conviction that they were doing God's work. And the civilian populations of the conquered lands often preferred Arab rule to the heavy taxation of Byzantium or Persia. The Rashidun were remarkable for their governance, simple, just, and relatively light in their administrative demands. The Umayyad Caliphate, 661 to 750. The Umayyads moved the capital from Medina to Damascus and transformed the caliphate from a religious community into a full imperial state. Under the Umayyads, Arab expansion continued at breathtaking speed. They conquered North Africa and Spain in the west. They pushed into Central Asia and the Indus Valley in the east. At their peak, the Umayyad Caliphate stretched from Portugal to Pakistan, one of the largest empires in history. But the Umayyads made a critical mistake. They ruled the empire as an Arab empire, with Arabs at the top. Non-Arab Muslims, Persians, Berbers, Egyptians, were treated as second-class citizens, even if they converted to Islam. This resentment festered and ultimately brought them down. The Abbasid Caliphate, 750 to 1258. The Abbasid Revolution of 750 was the first great Arab civil war, and it transformed the Islamic world. The Abbasids overthrew the Umayyads, massacring most of the Umayyad royal family in the process, and built a new empire that was explicitly multicultural. Persians, Arabs, Turks, Berbers, all were equal citizens of the Islamic State. This was the empire that built Baghdad. This was the empire of the House of Wisdom, of Harun al-Rashid, of the Islamic Golden Age. In intellectual and cultural terms, the Abbasid Caliphate was the greatest Arab empire. It lasted, in name at least, until the Mongol destruction of Baghdad in 1258. Arab identity and later empires. After the Mongol destruction of Baghdad, Arab political power never fully recovered. The great empires of the later medieval and early modern period, the Ottoman Empire, the Safavid Persian Empire, the Mughal Empire in India, were not Arab. But Arab culture and the Arabic language remained the foundation of Islamic civilization. Arabic was to the Muslim world what Latin was to medieval Europe, the language of religion, scholarship, law, and culture. The 20th century brought Arab nationalism, the dream of uniting the Arab world in a single political entity, the way it had been under the early caliphates. That dream, embodied in figures like Gamal Abdel Nasser of Egypt, ultimately failed. The Arab world remained fragmented. The story of Arab empires is a story of what humans can achieve when they are united by a common purpose, and what they lose when that unity fractures. At their peak, these empires were the most sophisticated civilizations on Earth. Their legacy lives in every algebra textbook, every hospital, every concept of international trade. That's a legacy worth understanding. See you next time.